Welcome back to Recovery for Life. Chris Howard, peer counselor at Indigo Recovery in New York City and host of this bi-weekly podcast where we come together to talk about addiction and recovery, personal growth, and the power of community. Today we're talking about taking personal responsibility. And we are diving right in these days. Audrey, why don't you go ahead and start?
We were talking about adulting. When I think of the word adulting, I think of I correlate the word adult with being responsible and being able to take care of yourself. I don't know. It's interesting because I think taking care of yourself, you kind of have to treat yourself like a baby. Even if you're not technically an adult with kids, you have to treat yourself like a baby. You have to treat people you love like a baby. You have to just share love and gratitude to yourself and others. Even if you're going through a hard time, if someone else is going through a hard time, I'm just a big believer in karmic positive energy. The more negative energy I put out towards my support system, the less I get back. And I've been very negative in the past. So recently I have just been coming to terms with being responsible for my own emotions and myself. And that doesn't mean I don't have to share anything with anyone else. That doesn't mean I should be closed off. That means I should be more open, at least for me. If I'm open with my emotions, open with myself and treating others with kindness, then others will treat me with kindness. It goes back to that thing that I disagreed with. I said I disagreed with John about that you have to love yourself before you love anyone else. It's yes, technically you have to do that. But for me, I think of it as in being open. I think of it in the same way, just in different words. You have to be open in order to receive love, in order to give love. It's all a big happy circle, even though things aren't happy all the time. So if other people are sad, then try to be the best person you could be. And that doesn't mean you have to be sad also. Just give support and help out a little bit.
I think what you said really was be kind to yourself, right? Be gentle on ourselves. And that's good. I mean, loving ourselves, that's a tough one for me too. And I think I've said stuff about that before too. The guy I used to hear in the meetings all the time saying he looked in the mirror every single morning and said, "I love you." Boy, that's a rough one for me. I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. But I get the idea. Like you said, it's it makes sense in a way. But being open to love is really important. Guess what? We're in our active addiction. We're so closed off to any of that I don't want anybody coming near me, right? We're closed off on ourselves and our own minds, totally selfish, no consideration for other people, right? And no chance of being considerate. So I think that all makes sense. It really does. Who else is going to dive into this somewhat messy subject sometimes?
I'll dive in. Yeah, it's John. Adulting for me right now. I guess it's subjective where you're at in your life, I guess, right? For me, it's looking for a home to start a family in, right? And I don't know, just figuring out, how to get pre-approved for a mortgage and all this fun stuff. I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's right now I'm at a point in my life where I am 2 years and 7 months and some change sober. And my wife and I want to start a family, and we've discussed it, and it's something we definitely want to do. We went to the doctors and got checked out and made sure everything that we could do that. The good news is we can. So it's now finding the. Interestingly enough, it's when we first started dating, it was just, we did it. And now we have to schedule it. It's something we have to schedule because we're working so
adulting.
Much. Adulting. We're adulting. Hang on, I'm going to put something on the calendar. It seems ludicrous, but we got to do what we got to do.
You guys share a Google Calendar so you can
that's
plug each other in.
That's very real. That's very real because we do the same thing. And in all honesty, it is subjective. 10 years ago, I bought a love seat with somebody. I was like, I'm adulting. And now I have a friggin' baby. You know what I mean? Adulting. And, it changes throughout our lives. I just think we're all fortunate that we're adulting now in a sober state. I think it's much easier for us to handle this with a clear head.
But funny you should mention that, because I was going to bring up that I did all of that long before I got sober.
Tough.
And what a mess. What a mess.
Tough.
Really was a terrible idea. And it's what we do, right? We have kids and we get married and do all those things. And I did that way before I got sober. And that was, I mean, listen, I didn't know, right? Who knew? Right. I figured, okay, this is what people do, but got an active addiction doing that and trying to raise 3 kids and then divorce and all of that. Really, really messy stuff. So yeah, I was thinking about that while you guys were talking, that you get to do this sober. I mean, what a gift, right? To be able to do this now in sobriety, in recovery, and have all of these tools to use, you know, to get through the difficult moments, which there are. I mean, when you have kids, there are going to be challenges. You know, relationships are challenging. Families are challenging, but with recovery tools and sobriety, I mean, you got a great shot at having a wonderful, wonderful life.
I totally agree, Chris. Like, I think for my wife and I, it's about communicating, making sure that we're on the same page, and just having an open dialogue about everything and being honest, and just trying to figure out, you know, where she's at, where I'm at, and if it all makes sense, and it usually works out. But it does have to start with a discussion and go from there, because I mean, I have to be okay with myself before I can even open up to anybody else. Like, I don't mean it in like I need to love myself way. Like, I need to be able to take care of myself. I need to be able to feel confident in the fact that I can remain sober, for one, to making sure that we have a stable income for establishing that, you know, so hopefully building a better future today, what we're doing, and kind of like
depend on yourself, right? You gotta be able to depend on yourself.
Right. Like, what if she loses her job, right? You know, what do we do in that situation? So we have to like evaluate all those possibilities. I mean, we can't control it all, but we can at least talk about it and get to a point where we feel comfortable in making a move like that, you know, because it's a big decision, starting a family and buying a home, and I mean, even getting married. Those were huge decisions, and I wouldn't have been able to do them if I wasn't sober. And if I wasn't comfortable in my sobriety and I didn't feel okay with myself to the point where, you know, I trusted, because there was a point in my life where I didn't trust myself at all. I had to hand my trust over to the professionals because I didn't know how to get my life back. I was so far gone. And we like to reflect on the past almost 3 years at this point, you know, and how far we've come, all the work we put in, and in our sobriety and our relationship, and how we've progressed. It really is something to be proud of. And, you know, I do feel blessed to be in the position I am today. And I couldn't have done it without the help of others. And I couldn't have done it by myself. I just know that for a fact. That's just straight up like facts. Like, I could have not got sober on my own. And
so it's like you've been very inspiring to me, especially what you just said about like being responsible for your own emotions. I have had, like, especially in adult relationships, like any kind of relationship, if it's a partner, if it's a family member that you're close with, like in our adult relationships, we really have to be aware of our own triggers and our own traumas and what makes us go into those holes, because like you said, you have to trust yourself, like, and that's not easy. John, especially, like, everyone here has built up such a love for themselves with other people, and like, you know, it doesn't have to be romantic, but I guess for me personally, like in a romantic sense, I have a partner who is like very supportive, and that's because we both open ourselves up to each other, even though we have both seen like the depths of darkness in our minds, kind of like, and it really is about trusting yourself in order to trust other people. I felt like in a lot of in some of my adult relationships, actually, one of them was just fueled by drugs and hate and self-hatred and verbal abuse, sometimes physical. And another one was just, I didn't really know myself. I didn't really know what I wanted. And like, now I'm seeing in all of my relationships that like, the more I open up to myself, like the more I follow what I want, the more I get what I want. It's like I'm kind of manifesting a future here but I can't do that by myself. And like, I know I need my support network. So you guys are part of that. So thank you.
Well, you know what? What you were just talking about really. I mean, a couple things you guys were talking about. One was, of course, participating in our own lives, which is a huge part of recovery. You're starting to, that's the adulting, right? We're being responsible. We're taking responsibility for our own actions, and becoming healthy in the process. And like you said, Audrey, getting to know ourselves, and how would we expect to attract healthy people unless we get healthy, right? So when you're getting better and you're getting to know yourself and you're getting to a better understanding of who you are, you're going to start attracting a very different kind of people than we used to, because we wanted people who were also not going to be open, because that's challenging, right? Who wants to be challenged? My communication style was, I would turn and walk the other way. That was my communication. A conversation. I'm out of here. I can't do that. I don't know how to express myself. I don't know how to be an adult, be a human being. So I would just run away, retreat into a bottle or whatever, and just get the hell out of there. That was my solution.
I think a big part of my growth was learning who I was. I mean, like just experiencing emotions at a deeper level, figuring out how to communicate. Seriously, like when I stopped using and got into recovery, like I could barely communicate with others. I didn't know how to do it because I was just so self-deprecating and just a miserable person. And I don't know, through the help of others and Audrey, you said earlier, and I thank you for saying so, that I'm inspiring in some ways. Like other people did that for me. I leaned on that and kind of just fostered my own learning mechanism to figure out who I am. I mean, like seriously, like I had to stop one day. I was driving and I had to stop because I didn't know what I was feeling. It took me off guard. I had no idea whether I was going to have a panic attack or if I was happy, or I had no idea. I had to stop, think about it, and like seriously, like process what led up to that. What am I feeling? This is something I've never experienced before. And doing that in sobriety, it can be challenging, but over time, it does get a bit easier, though I think that I'm never going to stop learning, and growing as an individual. That's something special that I think life brings, is just the opportunity to continually improve on oneself. For example, I mean, it doesn't even need to be related to a job or anything, like just showing up for groups. I make it a point for me to show up for all my groups. I don't think I've missed, maybe at most in my time here at Midtown, maybe I've missed 2 or 3 groups because I feel like I need to do it for myself. I need to do it to show up because it's something that makes me feel better. And I know that showing up for myself will, 1, help me, and 2, possibly help others. And that cycle will continue, and it does. And I see it. I witness it all the time. I saw somebody who was struggling not so long ago is now almost 200 days sober because he reached out to me and, asked me how I did it. And I gave him some tips and, it helped him. I had no idea what kind of impact that would have, but it is really something to see. It's something to be proud of, and community is crucial because, as I said earlier, I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Honestly, like I wouldn't be able to do it without y'all. Like I need this in my life. I need to be able to have discourse about uncomfortable feelings and hard times and what I'm going through. Because if I just let it bottle up, I'm going to regress, and I don't want to regress. I want to progress, and focusing on today, especially like what I'm doing today. Cause I mean, that's all I have is today, right? Like I make a conscious choice every day when I wake up to stay sober. That can be different for everybody, but I do that knowing that it will save my life. That's my huge motivation. It's just, I want to, in preservation of life and continuing my life, I need to stay sober. And how do I do that? I have to show up for myself, as hard as it is. Like in the beginning, I forced myself to do it. I forced myself to come to groups and talk about uncomfortable things. And it got easier over time. People helped me. They guided me. They showed me how to do it. And I wouldn't be here without y'all. That's all I can say. But seriously.
It's a nice thought. You never know, who you're going to touch and who they're going to touch. Right. That's how this stuff works. And, it's not even about recovery in that sense. If you are becoming the best version of yourself that you can be, you're going to affect people positively. in every relationship. It doesn't have to be in recovery. It's everywhere. We take this out into the world, right? I mean, this is in all of our relationships. It's not just in our recovery relationships. We take this out to everybody. We take this better version of us, the positivity, the love that we're giving out. I was, speaking of learning, I happened to be hanging out last weekend. A family member, she's 90. We had a long conversation. We haven't really had that opportunity before, but as she was kind of nodding off at the end, she just said, I never want to stop learning and growing. She's not in recovery. She's never been in recovery. She just wants to just keep growing. And she's 90. What a beautiful thing to say, huh? Just out of nowhere. Yeah, it's just great. And it's so true. Why stop? There's no point. There's no reason to stop. Right?
Yeah, life is about like learning and going. And Chris, you were the first person that told me like in a different way to like keep going forward, like just keep going forward. And that's what inspired the whole like poem about the circle and like how, you're a circle and you cross over yourself a bunch of times. You can go up and down. That's what inspired the graph. So it's just like, if you keep going forward, we keep sharing this love and positivity. I mean, again, it's not all gonna be sunshine and rainbows all the time. Just keep looking forward. Like, keep doing it. I tell myself to Nike, just do it, Frankie. Nike.
No, I haven't looked back.
No, you love Nike?
I think that I think the very first one of these that we did, which is more than a year ago, maybe it was in February. I think. Well, that one never got published, but I think I have it. I'd be very curious to see what we were talking about, what we sounded like a year ago, and how different it was. I'll bet it's very different. I'll bet it's very, very different than the things that we're talking about now. I have not looked at it. I haven't ventured, but it'd be an interesting exercise. I mean, I don't like looking back anyway, because all we're doing is moving forward, but it might be interesting to see. I don't know. I'll let you know if I do it.
I don't think it's a bad thing to look at the progress we made. I think stepping into the past and looking at things we regret and don't feel particularly good about that we did, or maybe we forgot or somebody brought it up in a conversation. You're just like, I did that? Really? Like that awful thing? And that feeling of like just disgustingness. Like, I don't know. That's where I kind of like draw the line. Like, I'm like, all right, there's good things that we can learn from the past and take a look at, how we've progressed, and maybe we can learn like how to be a bit more positive or whatever it is. Back to what Audrey was saying, what you put out is what you get back. I'm a firm believer in that too. And I think that this group came together in that way, right? Like, I think we're all very positive people and that we just naturally came together. I don't know, like, and we evolved with each other too. Like, I'm sure if we looked back on the old podcast, what they are today, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we completely vibe, like there's just a certain vibe.
Yeah. And when you said the thing about like evolving and like looking back on your past self to make yourself better, this is a little anecdote, but last night I was looking at some of my artwork. Like it just fell out of nowhere. Some of my old artwork from when I was using, and it was all black and white, and it all said like, it was all black and white, messy charcoal. And it just said like, I can't get out of here. Where is the sunlight? Like just words, really depressing. Like I'll never get out. Like, where I need to find my life. Like, I want to get out of here. I can't get up. I can't do this. I can't do this. And now it's like looking at my artwork today it was such a full circle moment. Like, holy shit, I've come so far from that darkness. Like, cause my my art was literally so dark, black and white, like no color whatsoever. And now it's so much more fun and like free, and there's color in it. And so that's just a little example of like growth, progress, all that good stuff.
That's super interesting. I was listening to some music that I've written because I'm working with my partner on some new projects. And we released a couple records in 2000 and 2002 and 2004. And when I was starting to fall deep into addiction, the first lyrics on the record are, I know one thing that's for sure, I can't win. And like, that's how I opened that record. And if you listen to it, it's so dark. And then songs further on, when I start to recover, the next year starts with, the sun is coming up on the streets of Brighton. Like, you can totally tell the difference between my dark days and the, just making my way through into sobriety and when it comes to writing as well. So it's super, super interesting, the growth and how as an artist, as a writer or a painter or whatever, when you're in addiction, it really shows. Like it really comes out in your art. I think that's how you let it out.
Yeah, I was, while you were both saying that, I was thinking about, I started writing while I was still in active addiction. And a couple of years after I got sober, I still had a couple of file boxes of probably 40 or 50 spiral bound notebooks with all of this writing in there. And some of it had been transcribed into a computer, which I don't think I had anymore. But looking back at that, I mean, it was the same thing. I mean, everything was dark and gloomy and sarcastic and, defeatist and all of those things that we're talking about. And eventually all of those went into a dumpster. I got rid of everything so that I didn't have to look at it ever again. And the writing now is just so different. I mean, there's humor, there's honesty, there's everything that you would want, right? I mean, and the most important part is that it's honest, right? It's actually truly honest writing. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And I think that back in the day when I started writing, I was trying to be something. I don't even know what that was. I couldn't even tell you, but I didn't know I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my voice was, right? I didn't know who I was. And so that was some other person doing all of that. I have no idea who that person was. I don't want to go back. I don't want to be that person ever again. I don't even want to meet that person.
Because we really all have these voices in our heads telling us, like, you're not good enough. You can't do this. You're never going to get out. Like, it's not literally a voice that you hear, but it's like, it's yourself telling you, like, even I remember like having conversations with people and having the worst parts of the conversation read back to me in my head over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I would spiral out of control. And then the positive spiral is just as helpful as the negative spiral, because in addiction we have spiraling brains, I think. So if we just keep the ball rolling in forward and not backwards, then that helps. But
I call it the circus. As soon as I close my eyes, it's like comes and drugs and craziness. It's a circus, right?
Absolutely. Circus is in town.
It's in place.
It's so true.
I'm laughing so hard. I need to mute myself.
You're saying too, Audrey, about, that inner voice that's telling us that we're no good. Guess what? We bring that to the relationship, and then, we let other people tell us that too, right? We tell them to tell us that, right? I'm no good. Tell me, reinforce it, please.
Yes.
Come on, come and tell me how shitty I am. Come and tell me what a terrible human being I am. I need that. Come on, this is who I am. I sought that out. I did. I know I did. When I got into recovery, people would say to me, you got to stop talking like that. Do not talk like that. Stop talking about yourself that way. You have to shut it down. And I like to relay that to people now too, because I hear it all the time in recovery, people putting themselves down, the self-deprecation, and we believe it, right? I believed it, that's who I really was. And I went and found people who would reinforce that. I'm not looking for those people anymore.
If you tell yourself enough, it starts to become reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course it does.
You continue to tell yourself enough how terrible you think you are, or whatever the case, it becomes reality.
That became my story, became who I was.
Yeah, I mean, if you repeat a lie enough, you'll end up believing it. But I think this is what I meant by like rediscovering myself, right? Like putting that negative garbage that I don't know, whatever my mind was doing or saying to myself in the past in active addiction, kind of putting that to the side and just focusing on what I have to be grateful for today and the positivity, like as hard as that is. And that led to self-discovery, because if I wasn't grateful for just even waking up in the morning, how else am I going to get through the day? I mean, that's what it was for me. I mean, it was really, really hard. I had no motivation to get up outside of going to get drugs. And that was not a life. That was not life. And I that voice inside my head, whatever we want to call it, internal dialogue, circus, whatever it is, to anybody. I mean, I think we can all understand or relate what that is. Like, there's this very bad voice. I don't know. I can just say for myself inside my head, that's just beating me up. It's beating me up, like, one punch after another. And I found it hard to get back up. I didn't even think there would be a chance for me to make it to the other side. I didn't even think that it was possible. And I also thought that my life wouldn't be the way it is today. And with that type of mindset, I think that, yeah, Chris, you're right. I mean, it does attract that type of energy, other people who want to reinforce that or kind of align with that. And I know I had a lot of people in my life were doing that, but they're no longer there. I mean, I mentioned in the past podcast, and Frankie brought it up or made a point to bring it up, where I completely moved to Brooklyn. I uprooted myself and I had to start a new life. I had to focus on me. I had to focus on what I was doing to myself. I'm not going to listen. I don't think I'm ever going to go look in the mirror and say, I love you. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm not going to say.
Let me know. Let me know.
I'll let you know if I do. But as good as life is, there is. I mean, life is still hard. It's right. I mean, there's still things I have to deal with and navigate. But fortunately, I have a sober support system that can help me with all that. But before, I didn't have that. I had nothing. So like it's a completely different story now. And I'm glad that I'm here to experience it with y'all. Like, because I think going back to the community aspect of it, like being able to experience it with others and having fun in recovery, right? Like, even though I'm an addict, like I didn't think that was even possible. Like I literally, that wasn't even a consideration in my active addiction. All it was is like, I just needed to do drugs and that's it, like, and whatever else I needed to do to get by in life, whatever, and it's different now. Now I take life differently. I do life differently. I think that life is precious and I have a finite amount of time on this planet. And if I'm going to be sitting here beating myself up, I'm never going to be able to strive or achieve the goals that I have in my head, or at least the future that I envision for myself in my head. And each day I try to work towards that. It's not like I have a goal that I feel like I'm going to set myself up for failure. That's not good. But I feel like just having some aspirations and some long-term goals that you want to try to achieve, whether that's getting a new job, starting a family, whatever it is. I mean, it takes time, but as long as I'm putting the effort in to do it, and not quitting, that I think that's important, not quitting on myself before I get the opportunity to even prove it to myself. I think that's important to know.
Isn't it so crazy that just but a few years ago, you said to yourself, and I said it too, I'm sure we all did, there is no way that I will be able to live any sort of normal life because I am an addict and this is it for me, because I can't see myself living any sort of normal life outside of opening my eyes, going to get drugs, going to work, going to sleep, opening my eyes, going to get drugs, going to work, go to sleep. And now here we are living our best lives, which is amazing because it can be done. It can be done. And it's so incredible to be on the other side of it and to look back and see that other self and go, it can be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
I've never looked in the mirror and told myself I love myself either. I love you.
I take selfies all the time. It helps.
Everybody likes you.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Send that selfie to me. But yeah, Frankie, I think people really need to hear that, like, you can get to the other side of this. And John, I made an I'm grateful list for like the first actual time. Like, I've never actually written I'm grateful for, and it turned into this like huge art piece, which is cool. I'll send it to you guys. Anyway, that's just to say that Amy, John, Frankie, Chris, you have all been so helpful to me. And I am so glad that you have been listening and contributing. Like, it's just really nice to be with you guys. So thank you.
No, thank you, Audrey. I mean, for me, like, the ultimate goal is to coming on this podcast, one, to help myself, but also to show that I literally almost died. Like, I didn't even think that I'd be even here today. So like, at least being able to show others that it is possible. Out of all people, I thought I'd be the least likely to make it. And here I am today. It's possible. I think that is a very strong message that others really need to hear. If they hear it, it's like, is it the right time? Are they hearing it at the right time? Is it coming across the right way? But as long as I'm saying it, right. I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, so. your people are not alone here. If you're listening, you are not alone in feeling like you can't get out. Just know you're not alone. Just try to accept or reach out to people a little bit. Just a little bit at a time. Doesn't have to be all right away.
Listen, I was one of those people too who thought I was just going to die that way. I was never going to get out. There was no escape. Absolutely no way out. And we are all here, and you're right. The two parts of asking for help that I always talk about are one is the asking, right? We say, okay, I give up. I need help. And then part two is actually accepting the help, because that's just as difficult. It's one thing to say, hey, I need help. Anybody out there? And then like me, when people came and said, okay, we'll help you. I went, oh no, I'm okay. I don't really need your help. I was kidding. I can do this by myself. And of course that was a myth. I couldn't do it by myself. There was no way. I need all of you and everybody else I've met along the way. There is no solo act here.
Yeah, like the more you reach out, branch out, the more in the future you can be by yourself. Like the more you expand and branch out and do new things, try new positive things that are going to be good for you, the more you can in the future be okay with being by yourself too. I think a lot of me using was like me not being okay by myself or in my head. So like the more I reach out and branch out to other people, the more I can, it's like if I went out and saw some friends, like, I don't know, sometimes I struggle even hanging out with my friends because I feel awkward or whatever. And the more I do it, the more I open myself up to people, the more comfortable I get and the more I can be comfortable with myself alone. It's like really, it is quite a journey to open up to. You have to be ready and willing to like take a leap of faith and trust yourself a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would think too, certainly for me in the beginning, that same internal dialogue said, why would anyone want to help me? Why would anyone want to spend time with me? I'm a train wreck. Why are you doing this? What's the motive here? And our motive, of course, is we just want to help each other. There is no motive, right? And in doing so, we're helping ourselves. That's all there is to it. There is no ulterior motive to any of this except for staying sober and living a better life. That's the motive, right? And it's pretty simple stuff. It really is. It's like us all here talking about it, hoping that other people are listening and that, they pick up on a little bit of it and say, recovery, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll try that instead of what I'm doing. Maybe there's an alternative. Maybe sobriety isn't all misery after all. Like we all think, sobriety, that's going to be terrible. I'm never going to have fun again ever in my life. Man, I was like that too. I certainly was not having any fun, ever. In active addiction, nothing was ever fun. Not even maybe the first day, but the subsequent 40 years, I don't think there was another day that really that worked out very well.
You're chasing it after that first one.
Yeah.
Every other time you're chasing it. Sucks after that.
Never finding it. Chasing it, never finding it.
Yeah. Chasing it the whole time. Sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, right? We don't even know it. Don't even realize what's going on, right? We're just doing it, going through it. Like you said, get up, go get what you need, do what you have to do, go to sleep, or if you can sleep. I mean, some of us didn't sleep.
Well, it's like that time. Yeah, it was like that commercial from the 80s. It was like that infomercial from the 80s. You get up, the guy walking around the rubber room. Remember that? I get up, I go to work, I get cocaine, so I can go to work. I go to work, I get up, I get cocaine, so I can go to work. And then he's walking around the room, and then it was followed by, this is your brain on drugs. Any question? Right. With the fried egg?
The fried egg, yeah, the fried egg.
Fried egg.
Yeah. I don't know that commercial, but it sounds accurate to drug use.
But it's real.
It's real.
I laughed when I was a kid. I didn't know, but it's real. It's so real.
Did you guys have D.A.R.E, the D.A.R.E program?
Yeah.
We all made fun of it.
I remember getting a T-shirt or something, and I never I was too young. Like I felt like when that was introduced to me, I was just like, "What?"
It made no sense at that age.
Yeah.
It made no sense at that age. I think that needs to be taught when it's more reasonable for your brain to understand what it is that they're talking about.
Yeah, instead of third grade.
Yeah, when I was 10 years
you're
old,
right, Amy.
and somebody was telling me, don't smoke pot, I was like, what's pot?
What's pot? I'm not ever gonna do that.
Yeah, right. I remember actually saying that, like in third grade.
Yeah, same. Same. I cried when my first boyfriend smoked pot, and then I became a drug addict. So it happens fast, people. Watch out.
It does happen fast. I'm not sure when that started, but I think it was before my time. And, all I remember is the science teacher getting stoned out behind the cafeteria. So that was and sharing.
Yeah, it's funny. My realtor said the word ganja today. I had a nanny that was smoking ganja.
Ganja?
I haven't heard that word in so long. I'm like, ganja.
Forever.
I'm like, whoa. It sounds like, whoa.
Reefer madness, man.
Yeah, right.
Wow. I remember me and my friends, like 7th grade, we used to ride bikes in the woods, and we like roughed up a kid for smoking weed. And I was like, don't fucking smoke weed around here, man. Or it sounded more like this. Don't smoke weed around here, man. Don't do it. And then like 2 years later, I'm in the back of a 77 Chevy Nova with pillows of smoke piling out like an idiot.
I remember
wish somebody would have roughed you up.
Rough you up, man.
Cheech and Chong on the radio.
I would go into people's cars at like age, I don't even know. I was later in high school. I didn't even know these people, and like we would get pulled over. I would never get in trouble, but like these people like that I hung out with would have like Coke on them or like a bunch of alcohol, or they would be drunk, and I'd be like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, stupid. But thank God, like nothing terrible happened, but like seeing all of that and not like knowing what was ahead, like it's
what does D.A.R.E stand for?
I don't know. What does
somebody Google it?
It stands for something.
Drugs against something.
We all should have been getting that speech in like 10th or 11th grade.
I'll tell you the truth. Would it have mattered?
No,
not really.
Drug abuse resistance education is the acronym.
I've seen all of the pamphlets and the sheets, and I see what they hand out to kids in schools. I'm like, I would have gone, yeah, okay, sure, whatever.
It's so square.
And then I go out and drop some acid.
Yeah,
that's what
I'll tell you something right now. If I went to that school today and told them fucking some shit, I'd scare the shit out of everybody.
Well, they never did that.
Right?
They didn't do that, right? They didn't bring in people. I think later on, I seem to remember that happening. They would bring people who, like just got out of jail or something. That's the scared straight part, right? Where they do that part of it. But that doesn't work either.
Right. But that's kind of theatrical as well. That's kind of theatrical. I think if, it might be more effective if a real person talked to these young adults like people and not down to them about it. I think people might understand the trajectory here and how this ends if you make the wrong decisions. And I'm not saying, I'm not the kind of person to be like, don't drink a beer, or like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying cocaine is bad. Heroin is bad. These things that don't come from the earth are bad, man. And it ends bad. And I think that if people heard stories like ours, stories like John's, like stories like Audrey's, and like stories like everybody's, I think kids would understand more the reason why maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little too abstract when it's presented in a kind of literary way.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea like taking an opiate would lead to opiate withdrawal and dependency. Like, I had no idea. I mean, if somebody had told me that when I was like maybe in high school when I could comprehend it, maybe it would be different, but I don't know.
We don't know, but at least we reached out for help and got some help, and we're talking to each other now, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, all of that might save a life here and there. It might, I mean, I'm not knocking it. I don't think it's a bad idea to keep doing whatever they're doing out there in the world. Well, guys, I think that was fun. That was another fun time. We should express our gratitude. That's what we should do, I think we've been doing for the last 50 minutes at this point. It certainly sounded like it, but we're going to do it more directly now, and then we'll check out. So, Amy's been pretty quiet. So how about put some gratitude from Amy?
Y'all know I'm grateful for each and every one of y'all so much. And I just love this group. People, I love y'all. And I'm grateful for my family, of course. Just grateful to be here.
Thanks. Oh, Frankie.
As always, I'm grateful to this group and my sobriety, my wonderful, understanding wife. And normally I close it out with a joke, but tonight I'm going to keep it serious and I'm going to say I'm grateful for that.
Oh, okay. A lot to be grateful for. Right?
That's my son. Holy shit.
Beautiful.
That's my son, Val. And I am so grateful that I am in a good, healthy place where I can raise this kid and give him a good upbringing with a good family and good supportive family. And he's just delicious and his head smells so good. I love the way a baby's head smells. You should bottle that. Baby head.
Baby head.
Baby head TM.
Baby head. You want to smell like a baby? Dab a little on your neck. Baby head from them. That's all I got, guys.
Audrey, go ahead.
I'm holding in my lap, so it's coming out like a balloon when it deflates. Like, but yeah, I'm so grateful for all of you, Amy, John, Frankie, Chris. It's always amazing to talk to you guys. And even though this is digital, I feel like I am in a room with you all. Yeah, I'm really grateful for sobriety and my family and the chance to move forward and my support system and my friends and all the people in my life that make me better every day. And you guys are part of that. So thank you.
Thanks. John, you are up.
I'm grateful for this group as well. Everybody, I'm grateful for y'all. Very grateful to be part of this group, this podcast, for my sober support system, for my wife, for my family, and for just another day alive and sober on this planet we call Earth. Thanks.
Yeah, you guys are unbelievable. Really amazing. I mean, just so much love and recovery and brilliance and wisdom and all these things that come out in these podcasts. And I'm so grateful to be welcoming the newest member to the family, Val. So great. I mean, where else? I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just beautiful to watch and see everybody grow and mature and become, better versions of who we are. That's what we're trying to do, right? We're doing it together. We've been doing it together, and it's been unbelievable. So grateful for all of you, and we'll see you soon. Oh, and anybody out there, please subscribe, hit the like button, all of those wonderful things you're supposed to do on YouTube, the thumbs up, and let us know. Send us some notes. Let us know what you think, all right? And we'll see you all soon. Bye, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.